Hello, this is Marcus here again from EV Journey in his beautiful ID.3. Now this is the pink ID.3. It is 7:25 exactly. Let's go, this is a race. Right, so I'm in the pink car and I'm going to be racing Marcus in the green car. Yeah, just to let you know, the battery is at 80%. 5:25, we're in the green car. This is a race, let's go. So we're racing Marcus in the pink cars. Let's go. Now, the battery's at 80%. So, this is the pink car, this is the quick car. This car's going to do 120 kilometers an hour. So let's get up to speed. So, the temperature's 27 degrees outside and the climate's at 21 degrees Celsius. Because I'm doing 110 in this car and Marcus in the pink car is doing 120 kilometers an hour. And we're going to charge and we're going to see who is quicker. Is it quicker on the motorway to drive at 120 kilometers an hour or drive at 110 kilometers an hour in an electric vehicle? And this is what we're going to find out. So what is also very interesting is that we did this exact test in the winter at 120 kilometers an hour, and we're doing this exact test today at 120 kilometers an hour. So at the end of the video we're going to actually compare how much more consumption we use in the winter in southern Europe. Now it was around 5 Celsius in the winter in Portugal, and today is 29 degrees Celsius, which is the average weather you get in Portugal in the summer. This is Marcus in the green car. So the road's just cleared up and now we can do 110 kilometers an hour. I can just see Marcus in the pink car just pulling away in distance. He's doing 120 kilometers an hour. So there's a strong northerly wind today, so we're going to go to Algestrau services, we're going to turn around, then we're going to come back. So on the way back we'll be into the strong northerly wind, so that's probably going to add to consumption, so we just have to be careful about that. So another interesting thing on this trip is when we did this in the winter, the 120 kilometer hour test, we had a 5 meter per second wind coming from the north to the south, and currently we're driving south. And today in the summer we've got almost exactly the same wind. We've got a 5 meter per second wind coming from the north to the south. I'd like to thank everyone who's already subscribed to my channel. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed and you're finding this useful, please click subscribe. So this trip is around 270 kilometers, I believe. This is a good test, a long range test, and that's why we start at 80% and try to get to 20%, so we will have some charging on the way. We're just coming up to the Alcácer do Sal services. Let's check statistics. So we've done 58 kilometers. Average consumption is 18.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so that seems pretty good. Let's have a look at battery. So we've used exactly 20%. So we've used 20% to do 59 kilometers because we started at 80%. So this is Marcus in the green car. We're just going to pass Alcácer do Sal services and it's 5:58, temperature 26.5 degrees. Now, I haven't seen Marcus in the pink car for a while, so I think he's definitely in front of us. But hopefully we're catching him up at the charging. So currently we've done 58 kilometers. Our average consumption is 16.5 kilowatt hours per 100. But this test is really important because there's only 10 kilometers an hour difference between 110 kilometers an hour and 120 kilometers an hour. So does aerodynamics make such a difference that we get much lower consumption? I mean, 16.4 kilowatt hours per 100 seems pretty low at the moment. 110 kilometers an hour, I mean, it's slow, but it's not that slow, is it, to be honest? It's still a reasonable speed to do on a motorway. So it's hot here. It's now 30 degrees Celsius outside and I've still got the air conditioning on 21 degrees. The best thing about this car is the air conditioning. Absolutely superb. So now we're just coming up to the Grândola service station. So we've done exactly 100 kilometers. It is 17 minutes past 6 o'clock and our average consumption is 18.1 kilowatt hours per 100. Let's look at battery. So battery currently is at 46%. It is 6:22. We're coming up to the Grândola services. We've done 100 kilometers. Our consumption's gone down, I think, 15.9 kilowatt hours per 100. And the battery is at 51%, and this is the green car. But just look at the outside. Do you see the price of petrol and diesel? It's got the price there, let's see. Petrol is €1.80. I don't know how people can afford to drive petrol cars anymore. I mean, if you're in a petrol car, definitely buy an EV. It'd be a lot cheaper. We're just 2 kilometers away from the charging stop. We're in the pink car doing 120 kilometers an hour. It's going well. So we've done 137 kilometers and our consumption's gone down to 17.8 kilowatt. 30 degrees Celsius. When I get out of this car, I'm going to warm up because 21 is quite chilly really, but I'm keeping it at 21. 33% we're turning off. It's 6:37, so we're going to see how long this takes us. Oh, they're building new chargers here as well. More 100 kilowatt and 50 kilowatt chargers here. I can see the stalls for them. Are they turned on? I don't say they're turned on. I don't think they're turned off. But anyway, we've got a 50 kilowatt one over here. That means I've used 47% to get here. So I need to charge to 65%, I think. I probably don't have long. We start at 33%. I've just plugged in. So yeah, out of interest, as it is 31 degrees outside now, out of interest, the battery temperature is actually 28 degrees Celsius. So battery management on this car just works perfectly. And what's our charging speed? 49.20 kilowatts. So we're getting more or less the full 50 kilowatts. So we're coming up to the services in Algerstraal, and we've done 136 kilometers, 15.6 kilowatt hours per 100. Yeah, battery 39%, 644. Let's see if the charge is available, shall we? Hopefully it's available. This is the green car. Been doing 110 kilometers an hour. Can we see Marcus in the pink car charging over there? Oh yes, there's Marcus in the pink car charging there. Actually, I think I'm getting the full 50 kilowatts. I'm going to confirm that, even though there's somebody else charging here. Let's check EV Notify. Yeah, the battery temperature here is 29 degrees Celsius, so absolutely spot on. And we're getting 50.3 kilowatts. We're getting the full 50 kilowatt, that's fine. I was worried with the other car on Type 2 we won't get the full 50 kilowatt, but we are getting the full 50 kilowatt. It's at 40% at the moment in the green car. It took us 41% to get here. So I think we're going to leave with, because we'll arrive back at 20, so we're going to leave with 62%, but I have to go quickly, so I need the toilet, and this is going to be a quick charge. Just so you can see, this is where we're currently charging, old 50 kilowatt charger. There's no shade, there's no nothing. Let's go and see whether the new charger are they installing. They're over here, let's go. In the whole of the Portuguese network, and as you can see here, they've got shade, they've got VW electric, and they've got some chargers in here. This one here looks like 50 kilowatt charger, probably 50 kilowatt. And this one here looks like it's going to be 100 kilowatt plus charger. Yeah, I guess this is a 100 kilowatt plus charger they're putting in here. Probably CCS in CHAdeMO. This one here is a 50 kilowatt CCS charger. Absolutely great. Unfortunately, Marcus in the green car is already here. He's charging as well. So hopefully we can get away before him. And last time in the winter when we did this 120 kilometer test, we actually arrived here with 28%. It's the same trip. We arrived at this point at the charge with 28%. Today we arrived with 33%, which is only a 5% difference. Not that much really, is it? Anyway, in the winter when we arrived here, we had a consumption of 21.1 kilowatt hours, but today we have a much lower consumption of 17.6 kilowatt hours. So even though there's 5% difference in the battery, the consumption is a bit lower, 17.6 versus 21.1. Right, 61%, we're leaving. And we're leaving before Marcus in the pink car, amazing. And there's the Mercedes is just pulling out the Type 2 now, putting in the DC. So we were cheeky. We got there, charged quickly, while he went somewhere. Now there's an iPace looking at the CCS, but the man in the Mercedes is unplugging his Type 2 and putting in the CCS. We got the full 50 kilowatt, great, and we're in front of Marcus in the pink car. This is going to be close, I think. It's going to be really close. So now we're going to go back on the motorway and we're going to turn around. Okay then, 70%, let's unplug, pink car. Right, we have to be quick. This is a race. Let's get going. 70%. Unfortunately, Marcus in the green car has left a bit earlier than us. We're going to see if we can catch him up. I'm pretty sure we can catch him up doing 120 kilometers an hour instead of 110 kilometers an hour. Just to let you know, in the winter here, we actually charge to 80% and not 70%. So just tell you, it's 7:05 now. So I think we left there around 7:03, 7:04. Let's see if the consumption goes up. Currently 17.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We're now at 110, back on the motorway, and we're going to see how much this wind is affecting us. I can actually feel the wind. Let's look now if Marcus in the pink car is still there charging. Let's have a look, shall we? Because we're going past the services now, we'll be able to see. So I'm looking over there. No, Marcus is not charging in the pink car anymore. It's 7:09, so I guess he must be behind us. So at any moment he could catch us up and overtake us. This is not good. We'll have to see. We've got the green car to catch up. Let's go, 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 back through the toll. And we're back on the motorway, this time going northbound, and I can definitely hear slightly the wind coming more towards us. It is currently 11 minutes past 7. So it's 7:28 now, and I can see Marcus in the pink car. We're exactly neck and neck. So he's just about to overtake us. I'm in the green car. Oh, this is bad because we were winning it. We've been doing so well, and now we're near the Grandeur services. Since the start, we've done 183 kilometers, and the average since the start has been 16 kilowatt hours. So it's actually going up. But since the last charge, it's more worrying. Since the last charge, our consumption is 17.8 kilowatt hours per 100. The last charge was 44 kilometers away. Now this is worrying because we've got headwind, and I only charged the car to 61%. The GOM is saying 155 kilometers, and we've probably got about 100 kilometers to go. So we've got a 50 kilometer margin here. I think we should be okay. So we're just coming up to the Grandeur services, and we're in the pink car, and slightly worryingly our consumption has gone up from around 17.9 to 18.6. That's since the start. If we look at since the last charge, which was 43 kilometers away, we're actually doing an average of 21.7 kilowatt hours, and when we came down our average was 18. So this is much higher, and this is to do with the headwind. Since the beginning we've done 183 kilometers, 104 kilometers per hour. Let's check the battery. Battery at 52%. I only charged to 70%. I'm wondering if that was enough, if I shouldn't have to charge again in Alcácer. We're still ahead of Marcus in the green car, and if we don't have to stop, I don't think we will have to stop. We might do. If this consumption goes bad, then we've definitely won this. Going past the paddy fields now of Alcácer do Sal. Look at that, a brand new Tesla. Looks like a Tesla Model S. Perhaps it's a Plaid. Who knows? Amazing. And the consumption since the last charge has gone down a little bit, now 20.6, but nowhere near the 18. So I was about to overtake the Tesla, but he's decided to overtake as well. Now Tesla's putting his accelerator down. Slightly worrying again. We're coming up to the Alcácer do Sal services, and when we came from the start position to Alcácer do Sal services, we used 20%. But the car is currently at 36%, so that means if we use 20%, the car will only arrive with 16%, but I think we're going to use a bit more than 20% because of the headwind. I believe the car may arrive just over 10%. So that's since the start. We've done 227 kilometers, 107 kilometers an hour. It's 28 degrees Celsius, still quite warm. It's 9 minutes to 8 o'clock. And since the start, it's 18.9 kilowatt hours per 100. But since the last charge, it's staying around 20.8 kilowatt hours per 100. It's not going down that much. And since the last charge, that was 88 kilometers away. But it's 7:52. We're just coming up to the Alcácer do Sal services. So since the start, we've done 225 kilometers. The consumption's gone up a little bit, 16.2 kilowatt hours per 100, and the battery is only at 32%. And we've got about 60 kilometers to go, so hopefully that's going to be enough. It's slightly worrying. I don't know if I'll have to charge or not. Since the last charge, we're doing 17.5 kilowatt hours per 100. It's 31% now to Alcácer do Sal services. Hopefully that should be enough to get home. I think we may get home with about 10% or something. Look at that, please charge vehicle, range 66 kilometers. You know what that means? My range left is 66 kilometers, and we've got 20% of the battery left. I think we're about 20 kilometers to get home. And currently at the tolls here, it's 12 minutes past 8 o'clock. 12 minutes past 8 o'clock. Now, can we do this within 3 hours? To do this within 3 hours, we'll have to arrive back before 8:25 because we left at 5:25. Now, in the winter, I did this in 3 hours 10 minutes. The exact same journey, 3 hours 10 minutes. So I was expecting this today at 120 kilometers an hour to be under 3 hours. Still in the winter, we had the heat on, we had all the lights on, etc. Okay, here there's a lorry trying to overtake a Nissan Leaf. How slow is a Nissan Leaf? Look at that. That's really low on power to be driving that slow in a Nissan Leaf. So I had to slow down as well there. So back up to 120 kilometers an hour. Now on the home stretch, 15% battery, 5.2 kilometers to go. 8:21. Can we do it within 3 hours? Not if people keep driving slowly like that. We can't. Need to get back before 8:25. Can it be done? Can it be done? Perhaps. I think it might be done. It might be able to do it in 3 hours. Let's come on. Let's go up to 120 again. Remember, we did this on 50 kilowatt charger. If we'd have done this with 100 kilowatt chargers that they're installing, this would have been quicker, this trip. One great thing on the ID.3, it's on cruise control currently. I don't know if you can see this. And because it knows we're coming up to a turn-in, I'm not putting my foot on the brake or anything. It's going to automatically start slowing me down. It's saying bend ahead 35 kilometers now. It's saying that, and it's automatically slowing me down because it knows, due to navigation, we're turning off right there. So I'm not touching the pedal at all. The car's doing everything for me. The car knows I'm coming off here at the junction. That's why the car's slowing me down. So let's see, 2 minutes to get there. It can be done. It can be done. 14% the battery, not bad. 8:23, I think we can definitely call this 8:24. Let's call it 8:24, shall we? Just go round here and park. Starting position, 8:24, battery at 14%. So we have done that in 2 hours and 59 minutes. Marcus in the green car hasn't arrived yet, so obviously 120 kilometers an hour is much quicker than doing 110 kilometers an hour. Let's just have a look at stats. So it took 2 hours, 59 minutes. In the winter, we did it in 3 hours and 10 minutes with 120 kilometers. So let's look at the stats for the pink car, 120 kilometers. So here we can see. So we did 287 kilometers. The average consumption, 18.7 kilowatt hours per 100. And we always had the air conditioning on. Start with 21 degrees and now 22 degrees. And the outside temperature is 24.5 degrees Celsius. The ID.3 has given us one report. What's that report? Please charge vehicle, range 61 kilometers. That's what it's telling us to charge. We've got 15 kilometers to go. It's 19 minutes past 8. The battery's only at 16%. Marcus in the pink car is still ahead of us. And we're going to see if we can do it in 3 hours. So it's 8:25. We're nearly there. About 3 kilometers to go. At 14%. That means it's taken us so far exactly 3 hours. No, 8:26. 3 hours 1 minute. So we couldn't do it under 3 hours at 110 kilometers an hour. Mark's in the pink car. He must be there by now. Let's see. We've gone down to 13% now. The idea was to arrive with 20%, but that's difficult. So we're arriving with 13%. Be interesting to see how much percentage the pink car arrived with. Around here, 8:28, 13%. Just go around here. Yeah, I can see Marcus there in the pink car. He's still doing stuff with the camera, I think. So yeah, 13%, 8:28, 3 hours and 3 minutes. Now, what's the difference between Marcus in the pink car? So I'm just going to go out, speak to Marcus in the pink car, and tell you what the difference is. Okay. First, let us check the stats in the green car. So let's see, shall we? So we've done 287 kilometers since the start. 16.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's not bad actually, is it? 16.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So those are the stats. And 3 hours and 3 minutes. Now, I actually spoke to Marcus in the pink car. He only got here at 8:24. So it means he was only 4 minutes quicker than us. 4 minutes quicker, but he spent a lot longer at the charger. So the difference between 110 kilometers an hour, 120 kilometers an hour on this trip of 287 kilometers is only 4 minutes. Something to think about. But it was a 50 kilowatt charger. It may have been different if we were using 100 kilowatt chargers.
So let's compare the stats. So this is the Volkswagen ID.3 that was at 110 kilometers an hour, or 68 miles per hour for our British friends, and this was the ID.3 at 120 kilometers an hour, or 75 miles per hour. So this is the percentage of the battery used on this 287 kilometer trip. So at 110 kilometers an hour, we used 89% of the battery, which actually meant we didn't need to charge. We could have done the whole trip without charging. But at 120 kilometers an hour, we used 103% of the battery. Even so, at 110 kilometers an hour, it took 3 hours and 3 minutes. And at 120 kilometers an hour, it took 2 hours and 59 minutes. Let me be a bit controversial here. So at 89% of the battery, we did it in 2 hours 3 minutes. 103% of the battery, we did it in 2 hours and 59 minutes. So here we didn't need to charge at 110 kilometers an hour. We could have done the whole thing without stopping. If I'd have started at 100% and gone down to 11%, I would have saved myself 14 minutes. Now by saving myself 14 minutes, this would have meant we'd have done that in 2 hours and 49 minutes, beating the 2 hours and 59 minutes. Now, I would never drive the car like that. I would never charge the car to 100%, and I'd never let it go down to 11%, only if I really had to, because there were no charging solutions on the way. What are your thoughts and comments about this? And what I'm trying to do in this test is to simulate something a bit longer range where you do have to charge. If you're in a situation where you do have to charge, it is quicker to drive at 120 kilometers an hour on the motorway than 110 kilometers an hour. But please leave your thoughts and comments below. At 110 kilometers an hour, we added 12.19 kilowatt hours, which cost us €4.66, and that was a charging time of only 14 minutes. At 120 kilometers an hour, we use many more kilowatt hours. We use 20.57 here, and the charging cost was more expensive at €7.60, but the charging time was 25 minutes. Even though we were quicker at arriving at our destination, we had a much longer rest time, but it was also more expensive. Now the temperatures and winds were very similar on both days, because I did some magic, and actually this test didn't actually take place on the same day. So on the day for the 110 kilometer hour test, it was between 21 and 27 degrees Celsius with 5 meter per second wind coming from the northeast, and it was just a bit warmer on the 120 kilometer hour test, but with the same wind. The consumption was 16.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers at 110 kilometers an hour, which is equivalent to 3.81 miles per kilowatt hour. At 120 kilometers an hour, it was more at 18.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and that's equivalent to 3.32 miles per kilowatt hour. So what is the range at 100%? That is, if we have the battery from 100% down to 0%, which nobody does in an EV. So that would give us a range at 110 kilometers an hour of 322 kilometers, which is exactly 200 miles, or a range at 120 kilometers an hour of 279 kilometers or 173 miles. I'm preparing the next video, and in the next video I'm going to do the same test again, but at 100 kilometers an hour without stopping, if we can beat the 2 hours 59 minutes. So click notification bell, click subscribe if you're interested in the next video at 100 kilometers an hour on exactly the same trip. So an added bonus, we have the 120 kilometer an hour test done in the winter versus the 120 kilometer test done in the summer. I will leave the video link below of the 120 kilometer test that we did in the winter. So exactly the same test, and as you can see here, in the winter the weather was between 5 and 7 degrees Celsius with 5 meters per second coming from the north, and in the summer, as we've seen, it was much warmer but similar winds. Now these are probably some of the coldest temperatures you're going to get in Portugal in the winter, and this is just to let you know my ID.3 doesn't have a heat pump. So this is without the heat pump in southern European weather. So in the winter we used 115% compared to 103% in the summer, and in the winter it was only 11 minutes slower. I was quite surprised actually, as I was expecting it to be much slower than just 11 minutes. We used 10 kilowatt hours extra in the winter than we did in the summer, and the charging cost was more, obviously. So in the winter it gives us a range of 249 kilometers or 154 miles, and in the summer, as we've seen, 279 kilometers versus 173 miles. So it's up to you, but I think if you live in southern Europe, I really don't believe you need a heat pump. I think the gains are not worth getting a heat pump if you live in these kind of climates.
Thank you for watching this episode of EV Journey. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please remember to click subscribe, because we are trying to get up to 1 million viewers. Thank you and bye.